beginning so we can have a clean start. All right,
Okay.
so we're recording. I can hear you, you can hear me, and we'll get started. Hi, welcome. My name is Eric Sanderud. I'm the project lead of VistaHops.com. And today in our series of interviews with Vista Hop folks, I am talking to Claire Desmarais. Oh my God. How do I say your last name correctly?
Desmarais.
Okay, I wanted to,
Yeah.
I made a note to double check. I thought I was right because Laura is very intentional about people's
Yeah.
names pronunciations, which I really appreciate about her. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll just restart that, and that's where we'll start the interview. Desmarais. just saying your name wrong, and then just I wasn't going to, but just being chill with
You
it.
did you said it correctly, so you
I
were
have no French training, and so I'm just terrified every time I
I
come
don't know
across a
either. So
French. All right, okay, I'll restart. Hi, welcome. My name is Eric Sanderud. I'm the project lead of VistaHops.com. Today in our series of interviews with Vista Hop folks, I'm talking to Claire Desmarais of CLS Farms. I'm personally very excited to talk with Claire and CLS because, well, I'm a super fan of their farm. You may know them as the Eldorado or Medusa or Zappa farmers, or gosh, have even heard of their legendary Centennials, but they're also incredible people to boot. So I'm super excited. Welcome, Claire. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi everyone. Yeah, so like Eric said, I'm Claire Desmarais. I'm a 5th generation hop grower at CLS Farms and the marketing and sales manager. So just to give a little bit of background, I guess, about the farm. So CLS Farms was created by my parents, Eric and Shelley. It's in Moxie, Washington, which is a subsidy of Yakima Valley. And they started in 1996. So we're going on our 26th harvest this year, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, so my family's been harvesting and growing hops since the early 1900s. Some of the fields are still being grown today by either us or some of our other family in the area. And yeah, we grow around 1,300 acres at CLS, and then also up in our Weenas hop farm called Weenas Hop Company. We have around 800 or so there. So it's really exciting because we have hop fields in 3 different growing regions. So in the Weenas Valley, the Moxie area, and then the lower Yakima Valley. So Toppenish and Buena. And yeah, we just grow a mix of public and proprietary varieties. I think between the 2 farms, we have anywhere between 18 and 20. And so, yeah, we're just excited to be here and talk about Vista and whatnot.
Very excited to have you here. 18 to 20 varieties must make for quite the hectic harvest season,
Yeah,
juggling all those.
it's definitely a lot going in between different varieties whenever they're ready.
So tell us about where CLS is at with Vista. It's my understanding that you're planting some this spring, and maybe spring has already sprung out there and they're already planted.
Yeah, so this year we're planting around 4 acres of Vista in our Moxie area. So it'll be close to the farm, which will be exciting for anyone who comes out during harvest. They can go and
Yeah.
see it. So like I said, 4 acres, we're going to be planting pots and they're virus free. And that's probably going to happen around late April or early May when they'll go into the ground. And yeah, we should have a pretty decent yield this year. I mean, 4 acres is a good amount. And from what we know about Vista, it's pretty strong agronomically and a pretty aggressive growing variety, which we love, obviously, with Centennial being similar. And so, yeah, basically, just in these first couple of years, when we grow a new variety, especially one if we don't have a ton of background knowledge on, specifically with like harvest dates, we really try to push the boundaries. So I think maybe Eric, you might know, but the harvest dates are around like the 12th through the 14th of September. Is that correct? Somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
um, so what we like to do is basically push those boundaries, especially with baby plants. We'll push that out maybe 5 or 6 days just to see what the aromas really can do. And it's pretty fun to see if there's any new ones that come up. But that's kind of how we're planning to approach growing it, especially since it's a new variety. There's not a out there, but we're going to do basically what we do with a lot of our other ones that are pretty strong and yield pretty decently.
For sure. I'm excited to hear about pushing the harvest day out. It's one one of the old, maybe it's a trick of the trade that brewers aren't maybe as familiar with, but those hops sit out there and they keep getting more and more mature, and they get more and more oils, they get more and more complex and exciting. I'm excited to hear that. I should ask, are you you've heard things about Vista? Have you heard about the very long cones that it produces, the very large cones?
Yeah, I've seen the photo of the hands and like the
Yeah.
cones, and I'm excited to see those because those are going to be really big, and I think it's just a fun. I love taking photos of hops too,
Yeah.
and all the different cones. They're so unique. So yeah, I'm excited to see the Vista cones.
It's a cool one, especially the size is like very very much like, so if people go out and visit Harvest this year, definitely take a stop at the Vista field and just see some really large cones. I think it's kind of up there with Comet. Their structure is
Mhm.
a little different. It's less loose than Comet, thankfully. So we're expecting less kind of shatter
Yes.
problems. But it's a cool variety, and it really does have a visual kind of distinctiveness to it because of those cone sizes.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, outside of the agronomic side, what have y'all heard early on about, either when it was 074 or now that it's Vista, about kind of aroma or rub experiences, or what should brewers expect?
Yeah. So we've talked to a few brewers, and I think people are still, trying to understand as best they
Yeah.
can with, what's available out there. And so, yeah, we've heard from brewers that they're being really supportive of this variety and wanting to be supportive of the public space. And so, like I said, there's not a ton of knowledge out there. I'm looking forward to CBC to trying some of the beers that actually have Vista in them. But for the most part, I mean, it has a lot of those like tropical white wine, peach. It sounds like those aromas. I mean, those are really popular aromas,
Yeah.
anyways. And yeah, so I think we've had multiple dealers inquire about it. So there is some demand out there for it, which is great. And yeah, like I said, I think once we start seeing more beers brewed with it, we're really going to have a better understanding of, how to actually brew with it going forward and what aromas might come out and some of those flavors.
I am as a Vista hop super fan. I am very excited for the 2022 harvest. We're going to get
Yeah.
to see all sorts of different shades of Vista and all sorts of different aromas from the different places that it's being grown. And I hope that we can all have a lot of fun investigating what this hop can really do. I wanted to ask, we're at that time. My final question before we go is, tell me about why public hops are important to you or to CLS Farms.
Yeah. So if there's any new public variety, we're going to be quick to plant it because we want to support the public breeding program. When they released Triumph a couple years ago, we jumped on that and planted that. And so we're really supportive of it. And mostly that comes from because, first and foremost, our brewers are in support of it and it's what they want and it's what they need. And so CLS really tries to, orient ourselves that can support them and identify, if they're really interested in this variety, then we're going to plant it. And so if they want access, we're going to do our best to help support that. And so really it's about the brewer's needs and the brewer's wants. And then on a secondary level, on a global scale, it's healthy for the US hop market to have multiple breeding programs and to, give brewers in the US and in other countries access to a whole bunch of different varieties. I mean, there's thousands out there that haven't even been named, and there's hundreds out there that are being used right now. And so it just makes a more robust, breeding program and market for people to, access, the different flavors and aromas that they might want to bring in their beer. And so we're in full support of the public breeding program. I mean, obviously with Centennial being one of our, largest varieties that we grow, we want to do it and we want to support it. And so we're excited for Vista. I'm really excited to see it, especially, just with the big cones and the pushing the boundaries of the aromas and just kind of what it can do.
Awesome, and thank you for sharing. We are at the part now where you can share, where can people find CLS on the internet? Can they buy from you? Where can they enjoy the goodness of your farm?
Yeah, so we're pretty active on social media. So you can find us at CLS_farms on Instagram and then at CLS Farms on Facebook and LinkedIn. and then clsfarms.com for the website. And then for our other varieties, Eldorado, it's at Eldorado Hops and at Neo Mexicanas Hops. And then we also have a blog too for people who are interested in, growing updates and beer releases and collabs and all of that. So that's hoptalk.live. And we have a newsletter too. If you guys want to sign up, it'd be really fun. And so, yeah, thanks again for having us, or for having me.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And I will underscore the hoptalk.live blog is a great blog, and I appreciate the effort you all put into those. It's good quality content. If you want to learn more about hops and hop growing and hop farming and what it's like out at CLS, I read the blog. I am a blog reader. So yes, thank you again, Claire, for joining us. And thanks to everyone listening or watching for joining us. Give us a comment or a share if you like this content. And I know this is not my first interview, but it's also not my 100th interview. So I'm always looking at ways to get better. If you have tips, please let us know in the comments. I'd love to hear them. And otherwise, thank you again, Claire. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Okay, I will now have it be stop recording.